criticism, something that somebody said to you this week that just really didn't sit well with you, right? Especially as highly sensitives, we tend to ruminate because, oh, we feel so deeply and it hurts so badly when somebody judges us. And so we tend to ruminate for a long time. So today we're going to talk about how to process that, how to let that go. Inspired by Brendan Bashar, by his daily fire in his growth app, because his topic today was releasing unfair judgment. And he gives us 4 points to think about in order to process through and let go of that, which is incredibly valuable. God, ruminating is such a big topic for highly sensitives. Definitely part of my coaching, definitely part of my 33-day course that I'm just about to launch because it is such a valuable topic. I'm sure you have gone through moments of ruminating, weeks of ruminating, years of ruminating. I know I have some of the things that were really, really tough. It took me a long. It's almost like you process it in layers, right? But today, Brendan brought up a really good point. He's like, on Saturday, or I say whichever day of the week you're taking as kind of a rest day, as kind of like a collecting yourself day, as kind of a I'm going to enjoy myself day, right? If it's a Saturday or a different day, for me, a lot of times it's a Monday. What can you digest from your week, right? Can you set that time aside in order to process your emotions, to process anything that that you weren't able to, didn't have the time to, or just the peace to do in the moment, right? I feel things very intensely and I like to process things as soon as I can. But the same day, I don't always have time. The next morning, if it's something really if it's really bugging me, I'll definitely get up early the next morning to journal about it. But sometimes if it's just something kind of in the background, I'm like, I drag it along for a little bit. But then by the end of your week, can you look at that? Can you process it? Can you journal about it, right? Yeah, what is your process? Do you have a process for letting go of such things like a nasty comment somebody said or left you online? It took me a long time to get the guts up to actually put myself out there, to do YouTube videos, to create on Instagram, right? Because you get negative feedbacks. And the moment I would get a negative feedback, I would be gone from that platform for like a week or two or three because it hit me so deeply. And it took a lot of work on it. Brene Brown definitely helps. But it takes some work until you can kind of fortify yourself. But we will get into, let's do it right now. Let's do the first point, right? That Brendan always also brings up is what was the intention behind that comment, right? If they said it, if they wrote it, what was the intention of this person leaving or saying that comment? Was it to uplift you? Was it to help you? Was it a genuine positive feedback of, hey, you could have done this better, or hey, that barking dog in the background wasn't the best, or was it a comment that is meant to help you with whatever you're trying to do, or just you as a personality, you as your character, right? Is it meant to help and uplift you, right? Was their spirit in a spirit of coming from love, coming from upliftment, coming from I want to help this person. I want to see this person succeed, and I think this is important for them to know. Granted, if they're highly sensitive, they probably already know it, but it's still good to have feedback, right? Or was that comment from a place of wanting to tear you down, wanting to, I don't know, wanting to make you feel bad, wanting to hurt you, right? Where is that comment coming from? Can you take a moment and just think about who must this person be? Or more importantly, what situation must they currently be in order to leave you that kind of a comment, right? Tony Robbins and probably Wayne Dyer and so many others always say people either act out of love or out of pain, right? So where do you think that comment came from? Came it out of love or did it come out of pain? So beautiful. And it was reassuring to hear Brendan say, because, he's been wildly successful in business. He was like, if it was from like an ill intent, I choose not to answer it, right? He doesn't even answer those comments, which I was like, oh, you have that option. I guess, yeah, I guess so. I guess that's a good point. Because he says you can't ever win with people who are coming from that pain, from that ill intent. You can't ever win with them because for them, it's more important to tear you down. So that was an important one, right? What is the intention behind that? Hopefully, this is a big one. This was a big one for me, right? Right out the gate, the first one he said, what is the intention behind that? Yes. Number 2, where's my second one? Is anything that they said accurate? Is it inaccurate? Is there any truth to it, right? Because a lot of times that stings the most, at least for me, because then I feel so found out. I feel so vulnerable. I'm like, oh yeah, that biggest flaw or that biggest thing that I'm sensitive about, that I am, what's a better word, that I'm insecure about, now is open for the world to see. And they're picking up on that. And they're saying, yeah, you are lacking, right? This is the big fear behind it. I'm lacking. There's something wrong with me. I'm unworthy, unworthy of love, right? Nobody will ever love me because of this. I can't succeed because of this. I can't be good in business because of this, and then I can't money, and then I can't make enough money, and then I can't support my family, and then I won't be loved, then your mind keeps going with that. So it's like, is there any truth to it? Is there any accuracy to it? And if there is, then it's a matter of like, okay, well, I mean, is this something I'm already aware of or not? Is this something that I can do something about right now? Am I already taking steps towards doing something? And then sometimes it's also just nice, not for that person who said it, but to others, right? If it's like, say you are a creator and you're wanting to help others and they saw that comment, and if you mention it and say, yeah, I am aware of that, right? It's like then you can show that vulnerability and help others who might be struggling with the same thing to say, you're not alone, right? So many of the things we feel like we're so alone, we're so unique, nobody else struggles with it, at least not in the way that we do. Look at this kitty trying to comfort me. And then really when we open up and we say, yeah, I do struggle with that, then others can kind of connect and bond and we can help each other and uplift each other. Yes? So that was the second thing. Is it accurate? Is there any truth to it? And then what do I do with it, right? Is there anything that I can do in this moment? Can I get some help? Can I get better at this? The third one made me laugh. I loved that Brendan Burchard said this, right? Even just a guy saying this, but then a motivational speaker for high performers, right? Not just any, but for high performers, a motivational speaker who goes, it's okay to have a pity party. I was like, what? Did he just say pity party? It's like, yes, he said it's okay to have a pity party, right? And what he was talking about is, yes, that initial reaction, that initial response, that gut reaction, that like, ooh, that hurts. It's totally normal. It's to be expected. It's a human reaction. We all have it. And to know that somebody who has been teaching motivation and high performance for so many years, I think over 20 years, still has that gut reaction tells you that we're on the right path. We're doing okay. We're not meant to train that out of us. That's what makes us human. It's what makes us compassionate. It's what makes us alive in a way, right? Because we have these emotions. We have this full spectrum of emotions. I always say every emotion is a good emotion because it shows you what's underneath it. It shows you where you're at. It shows you what's important to you, right? So have a pity party. Feel it. Express it. Let it out. Scream. Whatever you got to do. For me, my favorite way is always to journal about it, right? So many of my journal entries start with this is awful. I am in like the worst, whatever. Actually, it starts probably with a little like bleep, 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 right? Not very clean language. So many times to start my journal, I'm like, this sucks. This really sucks. This just happened. I cannot believe this. I can't believe this person said that. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. I write that one a lot. I am so angry. Ah, I did a whole video on why we as highly sensitives carry so much anger and how important it is for us to express and process that anger, right? So have a pity party, feel into it, understand, let yourself have the day, right? Let yourself have the day and then know that the next day you can get up and you can be your own beautiful, strong, authentic, resilient self again. Yes? Beautiful. Which leads us right into his last point that he said. He said, have role model resistance, which was really beautiful because every time you take it into who can I be a role model for, right? How would I teach my kid? And oh my gosh, my kid is barely 7. He'll be 7 in 2 weeks. But I'm already noticing so many moments of like ruminating over something, right? Or worrying about something, or just what this person said or did and how it made him feel, and he doesn't want to go back there. And it's so interesting since I'm already laying those foundations. And what better way to teach my kid about resilience, of how to get past it, of how to process it and get beyond it, how to not let it affect you so deeply, right? To feel it, but then to process it, to understand what that tells you about yourself and about your life, and then to get beyond it. What better way of teaching your kids than by your own example, and then by telling your kids, man, I had a hard time. Somebody said this about me, and I was really hurt by it. And I was thinking about, does that mean this? Does that mean that? What do I really feel about it? And depending on how old your kid is, they may not understand all of it, but it's still an incredibly important lesson. And also, it'll just make you feel better. Gosh, the thing that has helped me the most as a highly sensitive is just to continuously learn more about myself, about my nature, about my uniqueness, about who I really am, about how my brain works, about all the influences that I can purposely choose. This is what has helped me the most to really shape my life into something that I enjoy, that I embrace, that I look forward to, that I can connect deeply to, rather than to always have to dissociate. I feel like in my teenage years, I'm mostly dissociated. I was like, this world is too crazy and too loud and too much for me. I'm just going to go float in my dream world. I was definitely one of those dreamers, one of those daydreamers, was always in another world, didn't want to be here, until I learned how to ground and how to design my life in a way that really works for me and this highly sensitive trait. So, Brendan left us a beautiful quote, right? He said it so beautiful, so I'm going to read it for you. I'm not going to, in the like head of like choosing, right? I'm choosing to be a role model. I choose not to be taken down, right? Not to ruminate for life, right? He's like, how long are you going to hold on to this? This is why he's urging you, and I'm urging you, to process your emotions at least once a week, to let it go. Don't carry so much baggage with you. It gets so heavy. Yes, let it go. He says, make that decision, right? I'm not going to let people make me feel so terrible that I stop living an authentic life. Choose character. I'm still going to show up tomorrow, summoning the best of who I am, and march on. Wow, what a beautiful and powerful quote to really help us to make that decision. Gosh, So much for me has really come down to it is a decision. It is always a decision. This is why I teach, right? The fundamentals of all my teachings are about emotions and teaching you how to handle your own emotion, how to master your own emotion, because that was one of the big, big sticking points for me as a highly sensitive. I felt like my emotions were so big and so intense and would get so out of hand that I felt like I had no control. I was just going to be sucked into anger or sucked into frustration or sucked into overwhelm or anxiety or deep depression, right? It's like I would wake up in the morning and then depending on where the chips fall, or I would go through my day and somebody say something or do something nasty and just like that's it for the day. And it's just like succumbing to whatever is happening. And then I learned, about Abraham Hicks and law of attraction and creating your own reality and mastering your own emotions. And that was such a huge turning point for me that then I made it my mission to help others to also understand and embrace and be able to get their own emotions under control, because it feels incredible when you can ride those highs that we get as highly sensitives, when you can be passionate and inspired and in the flow and deeply in love. And those feelings are so incredible. And you don't have to give those up. But once, what goes up must go down. When you get into the opposite bottom, bottom of the wave, it can feel so horrible and you can feel so lost and might feel like you can get stuck down there forever. That's when you do the work and it's not going to last forever. I know how to get myself back out of that hole. I know how to not even fall so deeply into this hole, right? God, so many beautiful things, so many tools available to you. Let's quickly recap. Today, we're talking about releasing unfair judgment, making it a habit to at least once a week process your emotions. And we were talking about the 4 ways of letting go of a nasty comment. One, what was the intention behind the comment, right? The person, what was it, to uplift you or was it to tear you down? The second part was anything that that person said accurate, right? What can I take from it? Is there any positive feedback? Is there something I can change? If nothing else, I can just be aware of it and understand this is something I feel terrible about. So is there maybe more peace that I need to make within myself if that is not something that I can change, or at least not right now? How can I embrace myself more for it? How can I love myself, accept myself for this, right? It feels so bad when others judge us for it if we haven't embraced ourselves for this thing that they're judging us on, right? If there is any accuracy about it. The next one was have a pity party, right? Feel your emotions, allow them, don't suppress them. And they are here for a reason, for a beautiful reason. And then you can feel empowered by making the choice, choosing, okay, this was my initial reaction. Where do I go from here? What do I want from here? Okay, this really sucked. What do I want now? How can I recalibrate? How can I shift? I'm going to attach a bonus for you. The biggest thing that I teach is how to shift your emotions. So there's my free guide of how to shift any emotion, right? Just 3 quick but super powerful steps. Go to my website, healingyouremotions.com/shift, and you can download this guide. You can have it, and you will know how to shift out of that emotion. Yes? And then look at all the other YouTube videos I've done so many times that talk about processing your emotions, how to process your emotions. So powerful. And then the last one was be a role model, right? Be a role model of resilience. Oh, I love that word. That's like the basis of the course that I do is the resilience, how to be more resilient, how to feel like bring it. I can take it. It's okay. I have worked on myself. I have done the self-work, the self-worth work, right? The self-love work. I have worked on this myself, and I know how to take it. I'm resilient. Nothing can shake me. Nothing can tear me down. I am here. I know who I am. Ah, it is such a beautiful place when you can land there. Ah, amazing. Thank you for joining me on a Saturday evening. I won't lie, it was hard to get it in today because it started with an 8:30 in the morning soccer game. So I was like, okay, when can I fit this in? But I'm so glad that I came and I showed up for you. And I hope you're showing up for yourself, because I know processing your emotions isn't always easy or fun, but it is so, so worth it when you come out on the other end. All right. Enjoy your Saturday evening, and I will see you tomorrow.